Hello everybody, this is Adam and welcome to the third installment of my O-gauge model train layout. I think it's the third installment anyway. Um, Quick disclaimer, I won't run the trains in this video. It's just kind of to take you through my expansion and what I did to get there. In order to run the trains, I've got to use the remotes, I've got the Legacy, I've got the MTH. Things get a little hairy when you're trying to hold a phone to capture video at the same time. So I'll do that soon and I'll get a post out there, but I just figured I'd put this up there for anybody that has been following the progress of this layout and wanted to see the full-on expansion, which is now underway and running. So I'll just take you right to that, as there's nothing really new in this room at all. So that was the first room. I've obviously been working on that for a while, a little over a year now. Did a post where I showed you this cabinet. It's now painted and track is laid. We've got some foam underlayment there, and I've built a wooden box here. So ultimately what I'm going to do is, you see I've built this tunnel out of foam and those Woodland Scenics tunnel portals. I'm going to make a mountain up top here and extend that, make another portal here as it goes through the wall, and then a mountain feature back there. So I'm going to take that same kind of idea and strategy and do that in here through the hallway where the train runs through. So I'll do a very similar cut stone tunnel, and I'll do the same thing up here. Might be recessed a bit here, and then I've left room for some relief and trees and things like that. I'd love to put a photorealistic backdrop up against that wall. In discussions with my wife about the possibility of me doing that. She is an absolute saint letting me do this in the first place. So this is a finished hallway, goes into the rest of the finished basement. So I'm not going to put up too much of a fight if she doesn't want me to put up that photorealistic backdrop. I'm definitely going to do it at some point in this room, and then in this room, which I'm very, very excited about. So I am running right now. My layout, the track work is complete. I'm really excited about that. Track work is almost complete, I should say. There's still a lot of wiring I need to do. I need to turn some of these tracks on and off, give them the ability to switch on and off. But this is kind of what I've been waiting for a very, very long time. So you'll see here, I've got, it's a yard with a huge loop. So I'm able to run the trains through that other room, through the hallway. They come in on this first track here, or up on this second track here, and they can come in, come down, out onto this main line. And if I want to switch directions, I can come right up here, and I've got this all switched in through a MTH AIU, but I've got the switches as well. Send them back up this way and send them back the way they came. So I am able to run 2-3 trains on this loop, either all in the same direction, which is very easy, and they just circle in, they go through town in the other room, or they stay on the outside loop, or I can switch them either way, but they're all going in the same direction. The size of this layout now gives me some, the illusion that the trains are coming and going in different directions. For instance, even though they're running the same way, one train will be coming here across the hallway, and another train will be, on a different part of its journey, and it'll be going the other way, so they'll be passing each other. You can run these trains in different directions if you're paying very close attention. I don't like to run more than 2 when I'm doing that, but I can take them in, come off, go through town. I can reverse directions. There's another reversing loop up through this part of the town, and I can have both trains, for instance, passing each other in separate directions on these 2 lower tracks while a third train goes up above. But it gets a little hairy. The nice thing about the MTH and the Legacy, you can program routes. So I haven't really done too much with that yet, but it does offer some interesting running possibilities. However, this really is a single main line with a couple other alternate route options. So I'm really, really happy with the yard space that I have. It's a functioning yard. I'm not sure if it's laid out. I read a little bit about proper yard layout, but I have space restrictions. I have things that I wanted to do in ways that I wanted to run the trains. This is a toy train layout. This is not a switching layout. I want to be able to not take engines on and off the track and have to rail cars every single time I want to run. So my goal in this setup was simply to be able to put engines with consists on the layout, out of the way, unobstructed running without having to take them on and off. So I do believe I've accomplished that pretty well. Here you see I have like 14 cars hooked up to this first train here. I have room for engines or cars and engines or whatever combination you want to do. I did get these little guys. These are awesome. This train wreck here, or scrapyard, Lionel scrapyard I think it's called. Shows a guy welding, guy lifting a door, carrying stuff in and out of that train. I just think that's pretty neat. This siding isn't useful at all. It's just really for show, but I really like it. And I did these tower lights. Actually, my father-in-law, got to give him a shout out. He got me these, and he's the man. He's been helping out with this layout. So these are really, really cool, especially at night. They light up this section of the yard really well. And I've got some smaller lights that I haven't hooked up yet. Here, and I've got a third one. So I'm just happy with it. I just think it looks really good. I've got my ABA units here, and they can pull on and off the track. This one I've got ABA with a 5-car. This is the Lackawanna Phoebe Snow. I've got a 5-car passenger consist here, so you can't really ask for more than that on a layout this size. The layout's about 35 feet long now, but it's only a few feet wide in spots. Obviously in this first room it's 10 or so, yeah, it's 10 feet wide, but it quickly shrinks down to just a few feet through the hallway. And then I've got a bit of a U shape back through here, so at this point, good size layout, and way better than anything I had thought of doing when I first got into this hobby. I was going to build I think I had mentioned before, a small layout on a 5x9 ping pong table, but I just got way too into it. But I'm glad I did. So a couple things I did that might be worth mentioning if somebody's looking to get a train project off the ground is, for the benchwork, I kept it a lot simpler this time. It's better and more sturdily built than the first room. But for the benchwork, I went from 2x4s in 3/3/4 inch plywood to 2x3s with 1/2 inch plywood. It was just overkill in there. I see no reason, just my personal opinion, I see no reason whatsoever to build your benchwork with 2x4s. I can stand on this layout as long as you have adequate bracing underneath. The 1/2 inch plywood seems just fine to me. Plywood swells a little bit in the seasonally, I guess, but I haven't noticed any big deal in the other room. I don't anticipate any problems with this. So some people like to put foam over the top of their plywood, or just do a plywood open grid, a foam open grid layout, but this works for me. Easy to drill through for wiring and things like that. So I just kept it simple, did a flat 2x3, braced the legs, did 45-degree cross members, and braced them underneath running down through the layout. So this is it. I did get a second transformer for this room, and that I have to give a shout out to my dad. He funny thing about my dad is he saw my layout when I had it going just in the first room, and he decided he wanted to get a layout going, and he built this huge table. It was awesome. He bought a ton of track, bought a transformer. He was real excited about it, and then I think he just realized the amount of work that it takes, and sometimes you think you have a good idea, but he ended up just not having the passion for it. So he gifted me that transformer along with that Phoebe Snow. So I've been getting pretty lucky with the train gifts. I will show you under the table here, so I'm going to pause it for a sec. So this is the kind of brains of the train layout. I now have the MTH TIU, which controls the trains and the track power and how they receive the signal. I'm running 2 channels off of the AIU because I do have 2 transformers. I have 1 transformer in this main room, and I have a second transformer in the other room, which I just showed you. I also have a DCS AIU accessory interface unit in here that I'm running all my switches off, and the bridge lights and a couple of the buildings, the swing set, what have you, so I can turn that all on and off with the MTH remote. Hope to be getting the Wi-Fi very soon, which will be exciting, and I'll give an update on that. And then I do have also the legacy system. I have not bought the cable yet that hooks the legacy, and I need a more permanent place for this, of course, but I do want it close to the TIU because I want to buy that small cable that I can hook into the TIU so that I can control the legacy trains in TMCC mode should I want to. I do want to show you one other thing too. I tried to keep the, there's a lot of stuff online about the DCS and how you want to home run wire or star pattern wire. The layout, I did do the star pattern wiring on the layout, but they over and over and over again, they mention you want to keep the wire, the length of the wire runs pretty much the same. So I really tried to be conscious of that, and I did that, but I had to go all the way through the hallway and into another room. So what I did is when I had that cabinet built, I had a conduit put right here that runs right through that cabinet, the back side of that cabinet, and goes into the other room. And here's a view of that conduit on the other side in the new room. I still have to tack up a bunch of wires, so excuse the mess. I am not a neat wirer. It's just what it is. But I tried to keep the length of the wire runs the same, so I put in a a power strip here so that I could distribute my power coming in from here, from the other room, and I bring it all into here and then distribute it evenly throughout the rest of this layout. So I try to keep the length of run the same in the second room as it is in the first room, if that makes sense. Another thing I did is I put another accessory interface unit in this room to control all the switches in this room and the accessories that I have switched in to this AIU. The thing I would mention about this AIU is you can daisy chain the AIUs together. Obviously this AIU is about 25 feet from the other AIU in the other room, and the cable that comes with the AIU to daisy chain these together is maybe 2 or 3 feet long. So you just take some Cat 6 cable and you reverse crimp it. And what I mean by when I say you reverse it, the pins on the first end of the cable are exactly 360 degrees the other way on the other end of the cable. So if it's, say, black, red, green, blue, it's now going to be blue, green, red, black on the opposite ends of the cable, and you just take a crimper and crimp them together with a phone cable crimper or whatever it's called. So that worked very well. There's no loss of signal that I can see with the extended run, and that's pretty much it. That's what I've been working on. So got a lot of tidying up to do, obviously, underneath the layout, and I want to make some of these tracks. I have them ready. I have the power cut center rail here, and this track is dead right now, but I have them ready to switch on and off and turn the tracks on and off. I just haven't gotten around to wiring it yet. So there's quite a bit I want to do with this room. It's going to be a pretty neat industrial area, yard area. I want to put a road all the way down, running through here, coming around, kind of like a utility road, so kind of a dirt road, maybe a little, the appearance of a dirt road / hard road combo. Coming into here, get some more heavy equipment in here, maybe get some more yard lights. I want to get a yard tower for here. On this end, I mean, there's just a bunch of stuff I can do, like a yard office, and I just want to make it a cool construction / train yard area, and I think that'll look really neat once it does that. So wish I could run the trains for you today. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention. So, and I think this is important, so if you're still watching after 13 minutes, kudos. Obviously you're somewhat interested, but in this first room, had no idea what I was doing when I started building, and it's okay, but this is about a 6% grade coming up here, and obviously it's 36 curve, 6% grade, another 36 curve. That's, I don't know, that's like a 48 curve or even less, so that's not a big deal, but it's a steep grade to be pulling a long consist up, especially with the turn radius. So one thing I did, and my trains will make it, and they don't really seem to struggle too much. Some struggle a little bit more than others, but not a big deal. But what I just wanted to make sure that I did in this second room, because I can run these trains in both directions, is to take this grade and smooth it out and make it a lot less tough for the trains to run up. So this is just under 3%. And what I did was I got one of those MTH trestle sets, but instead of, and there's enough trestles for an up and a down at about 6%. So what I did was I used them all for up, and I'll try to show you here as you go along. So there's now 2 of the same height. So just for incremental rise, I just took little 1/4-inch strips of basswood and I put them under every other one, so you get a nice smooth transition up to the top here. So the trains pull this no problem. These are wider curves also. These are 48s. I wish I was running 72s, 84s, and 96s on this whole layout, but it's just not a luxury I have. So anyway, moral of the story is nice, slow transition, nice, easy grade. So these trains have absolutely no problem pulling up this grade. So problem solved there. If I have a super long consist or a train that's a little bit weaker, I can always just run it in this direction around this loop. So very nice to do that. So anyway, end of the post. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section. If you have some comments, leave them in the comments section. But this is Adam. This is my O-gauge layout. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'm pumped up. Thanks. Bye.